Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast. We are live streaming from sunny Sarasota, Florida, into your living room, all over the world, wherever you are, which is so doggone exciting to know that we are streaming into Austria and Oklahoma and Oregon and Virginia. And if you're from somewhere else, put it in the chat. Let me know. Let me know where you're from. This is very cool and I love it. I'm Reverend Theresa Feeberts, and I know who you are too. You are a brilliant, unique expression of the divine. You are spirit in motion in the world. You are being animated by that one source and substance of all life. You're special. And again, I'm happy that you're here with us because we together are creating a world that works for everyone. A world that works for everyone, everything, everywhere. A world where people are waking up to their spiritual magnificence, where they're understanding who and what they are and stepping fully and freely into that expression and experience. Pretty dang exciting, isn't it? It is, and I'm so glad that we do it together in community every Sunday morning, and then all the other ways that we get together during the week. I'm excited about it. Just a note about that, it is time to stand and be counted as a member of our community, as part of our CSLCC family, and I'll talk more about that at the end when I do announcements, but just want to put that little bug in your ear there and plant the seed. So if you are feeling called to this message that we deliver and the teaching, the philosophy, the way of life that we're always delving into, then we invite you to join our family. So this month, as you know, all month long, we've been reaching higher. We've been talking about ways to ascend, to reach higher, to stretch beyond the conditions and circumstances that we might find challenging in the world and in our own personal worlds, and reach higher into that greater magnificence that is always here, always available for us. And so the last few weeks I've shared personal stories of how I've done that. And last week I shared with you the 5 steps to spiritual mind treatment, those fabulous, wonderful, uplifting, logical steps that we take to get our mind right, about the universe in which we live and move and have our being, and that power and presence that's available for us. And so this morning we have a treat. This morning we're going to continue with that same inspiration, but we're going to hear from your friends, your peers, our friends that are on this journey of life with us. So we've got a few people that are going to share this morning, and I would love your feedback on this format too. I'm thinking maybe we can do this the 5th Sunday every month. So I'd love to hear from you. Ralph Waldo Emerson says, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are only tiny matters to what lies within us." And that's what we want to remember each and every moment. And so let us take that idea right now into thought, into prayer, into consciousness, where we know that we can consciously co-create our experience of life. See, I know, as Ernest Holmes and Ralph Waldo Emerson taught, that there is something so strong, so powerful, so creative, so intelligent, so loving, and ever present within each one of us. It's a power, it's an urge, it's a light, it's an essence that is always pushing for a greater expression of itself. It is spirit incarnate. It is the divine in form. It is all of us. It is life itself. And so I recognize here this morning an opportunity to let that light be ignited in a new way, in a powerful way, in an uplifting way, in a way that it never wants to shrink back into its small self, but is ever more seeking its brilliance, its delight in the world. And so I know, through the message, through the sharing of our friends, through the music, that there is that ignition, there's that fire that releases within each one of us our magnificence, our spiritual brilliance, that unique divine flame known as each one of us. And in that, a world is created that is so beautiful and works so well. This I know, nothing less, but always something more. And so it is. Thank you in that knowing with me. It's powerful, powerful, powerful stuff when we do this together. So this morning we have Len Seligman joining us again. I'm so happy. I love when Len's with us. Talk about uplifting, right? Reaching higher. He's always inspiring us. And he does so this morning from Oregon. So I thank him. I have so much gratitude in my heart for him getting up earlier for us. Because there's quite a time difference, and being here with us this morning. So help me welcome Len Seligman.
Sorry, Len, you're muted.
Okay, maybe that's a little better. Bobby, make sure in the chat if the sound is if there's a problem, but I think we're good now. So this morning I wanted to start with something that Krishna Das brought into the world, and I really love this song and chant combined. The English lyrics are from a Buddhist prayer. And the Sanskrit lyrics, I'm going to teach you right now. They're not very hard. It's Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. And people have been chanting those words for thousands of years. So imagine you're part of this stream of people chanting Ram, Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. And so what does it mean? It means hail to Ram. Hail victory to Ram. Ram is just another name for God or spirit. And what's the victory over? The victory is over illusion. The illusion of our separation. The illusion that we're alone. The illusion that we are not loved. And then the other lyrics are Sita Ram, and there we're balancing out the female and the male aspects of the divine. Sita being the female, male being Ram. So when we get to that Shri Ram, Jai Ram part, sing it out and know we're all connected as we sing. Calling out to hungry hearts everywhere through endless time. You who wander, you who thirst, I offer you this heart of mine. Calling out to hungry spirits everywhere through endless time. Calling all you hungry hearts, all the lost and left behind. Gather round and share this meal. Your joy and your sorrow, I make it mine. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Sita Ram, 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 Sita Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Dancing is allowed. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Sita Ram, 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 Sita Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. And breathe in that truth of who we all are. Ram, Ram, Sita, Ram, 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 Sita, Ram. And so it is.
Wow. Wow. Wow, Len.
Beautiful.
That was great.
I did start dancing, by
We
the way.
did. We were chair dancing. So.
Gosh, good morning, beautiful
Yeah.
people.
Good morning, everybody.
You know, Catherine and I hope that each of you have had a chance to go back into your life experiences and review, maybe even reflect moments where you have reached higher.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe it was a challenge, maybe it was a change.
Yes.
And that, you know, whether it was pleasant or unpleasant, that it was a moment of reaching higher so that you could grow, so that you could understand more.
Yeah.
You know, we did that. And since 1995, get this, we have owned 11 residential properties.
This always makes me crave when she says, I
Live,
can't believe it half the time.
we have lived in 3 states.
Mm-hmm.
We have had combination of the two, 10 careers.
Mm-hmm.
We have had thousands of relationships, business, school, church, organizations, personal, friends,
Acquaintances.
family,
Yeah.
acquaintances.
Yeah.
And there are so many places, I must tell you in truth, that we have fallen and we have gotten back up.
Yeah.
And there are so many challenges. What would life be without them? Because that's just another opportunity to bring us to a new place that's better than the last one.
Very true. Very true.
So, to this week, I love the theme, and still I rise.
I love it too. And
Yep.
still I rise.
The idea of raising yet above another challenge, emotional, chaotic,
Yeah.
difficult,
Oh.
grief, death,
Oh yeah.
distractions. To rise yet again simply means that it's our next best opportunity to follow our heart
Mm-hmm.
and to reach new levels of understanding every time.
So true.
Rene Descartes has a great quote. Now, Rene Descartes, the guy who said, "I think, therefore I am."
I love that quote.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Late 1500s, early 1600s.
I didn't know that.
He's the guy who invented the Cartesian coordinate system, probably the forefather of our now GPS system.
Oh, wow.
But
Global
this-
positioning system, right?
Yeah, wherever you are.
Yeah.
This quote, "Whenever anyone has offended me, I try to raise my soul so high that the offense cannot reach it." Now let me say that again. I raise my soul so high
Your soul.
that the offense cannot reach it. That inner place, that intelligence, that intuitive part, that infinite part, the part that goes on after
Yeah.
this particular lifetime. It's that opportunity to drop the human part of us
Right, right.
and to open up to what God wants to tell us. Maybe the vision, maybe God's life within us.
Yeah, that's true. It's beautiful. So the soul speaks and the body just sits and listens in a way.
Yeah, well, that would be nice.
Yeah, yeah.
So that brings me to a place in my life. At 33, I changed careers, became a real estate agent, and I had been a salesperson, a broker, the director of the real estate school, a teacher in real estate, and a manager. And I must say that in those years, I have developed a guiding system that has brought me beyond challenge, that has helped me navigate through life in helping others be treated fairly, equally, lovingly, and still rise above. And I put into my real estate notebook at the time an excerpt called Integrity. I took that excerpt out and it now is in my personal practitioner notebook, 3rd page. And I'd like to share it with you on this day, and still I rise. Integrity isn't so much about what you say. It's more about who you are and what you do. It's what steers you through life. It establishes your priorities and behavior. So when you are morally challenged, you know how to respond. It doesn't matter how spiritual you are. From time to time, you will cross a contradictory emotional battle with your soul as to how to be with the question at hand. Well, you have found your edge, your soul-stretching moment in those times. You are often confronted with contradictory circumstances between what you want to do and what you know is correct to do. Your integrity brings clarity to these moments. So integrity will not allow your actions to defy your heart. When you're coming from a place of deep integrity, your conduct will be congruent with your heart's desires. Your head won't be tripping out on the past choices, but instead will be free to live with a great sense of inner peace.
Wow.
Your integrity allows you to decide who you will be regardless of the dynamics of the world. Your values are what keep you from living a split personality between who you want to be and who you are in the world. By freeing yourself up to be a whole person, aligned in spirit, soul, action, no matter what
Wow.
comes along.
Spirit, soul, and action. Spirit, soul. Your GPS.
Yeah, there you go.
Your global positioning system, right? Your soul global positioning system. Wow, I know. I get that. I do that. I forget sometimes, most of the time, that I have that soul, that inner peace that I can go to instead of react.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and that's something that we all need to work towards. There's a great Ernest Holmes. I think it's going to go pretty good with what you just talked about there.
Oh, good.
And I love everything he has to say, Mr. Holmes. So I'm going to read Mr. Holmes. Ernest Holmes says, the lens, now this is great, I love this, the lens through which I view life makes a huge difference.
Oh,
Yeah, the lens.
perspective.
Yeah, basically, that's what we're looking at. You have, I guess, we have different lenses. So the lens through which I view life makes a huge difference. One of my favorite viewpoints, he goes on to say, is to always assume the best. Always assume the best. When the words or actions of someone are negative or judgmental, I can feel hurt, which that happens to us all the time. So he goes on to say, before reacting, I can ask, what is the best way I can interpret this?
Uh-huh.
Usually, it's more about them than it really is about me. I can stand in a place of compassion and peace and assume, now this is great, that they are doing the best that they can. That's really, I love that, because I never see that. I go right to, you hurt me. Why would you say a thing like that? Instead, I should sit back and say they are doing the best that they can and know that it's really not about me. So this creates, he goes on to say, this creates an opportunity for healing and a deeper love for all. They're doing the best they can.
Right on.
They're doing the best they can.
Yeah.
Ethelyn and I studied A Course in Miracles back in upstate New York for numerous years also, which was great teaching. And there's a part in the Course in Miracles that teaches that anything unlike love is a call for love.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So when you're not feeling the love and it isn't hitting you and they're not saying it, it's basically a call for love. When I feel attacked, I stand in this awareness. I am called to love and understanding. I am reminded there is nothing, absolutely nothing to defend.
Wow.
I know. This is where it gets to the part where, okay, stop being a human all the time and start thinking through the other lens.
You have
Start-
nothing to defend is right.
Exactly.
And you don't get attached to it.
Yeah.
You get detached to
You
it.
get detached to it. So a human, you can understand it and reason with it and you know, and then just, you know, it's a call for love.
Mhm.
It's a possible call for love. So let's do something different. Let's look through the lens for the call for love instead of the lens of attack and the lens of hurt and the lens of regret. So it makes sense. So Holmes tells us also that love overlooks the little differences that we have and finds a point of reconciliation with others. Love creates tolerance and human understanding, without which we become really divided against ourselves and without which we almost unconsciously become filled with criticism, condemnation, and false judgment. So there it is. No one can be happy or enjoy the greatest fulfillment in life until he or she has come to see that most people are trying to do the best that they can. They're trying to do the best they can, Effie,
Absolutely.
which is amazing.
Absolutely.
And we need to see that. We need to recognize that. We need to put on the other lens, which we don't pick up often enough.
Mm-hmm.
Put on the other lens, look through the other lens, see that they're doing the best that they can. Don't take it personally. Rise above.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Is this whole month about
Rising above.
rising above?
Do you want to tell very quickly our story from this past weekend?
Oh, the one in the elevator?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
boy.
quick.
And again, rising above. And I think I did pretty
Just
good
quick.
at the moment. Okay, real quick. Ethel and I went out to have a dinner, an early dinner on top of a roof next to Pier 22. There's a new restaurant, new hotel. You have to go up 8 floors to get there.
Mhm.
Great time. On our way back down, wear our mask. We're going in with a few other people that we don't know. So I choose to put my mask on. Ethelyn chooses to put her mask on for safety's sakes, for us and for everybody else. I'm putting on the other lens. The gentleman didn't like it in the elevator, and he had some choice words for us, which were,
you really believe all that stuff?
yeah,
You allow the government to control
you're
you?
buying into that, BULL stuff. And I stood there for a moment, and I looked at him through my mask. All you could see were my eyes. So I'm sure they were beating at him pretty well. Without getting angry, I just said, look, nobody controls me. It's a choice.
My choice.
And it's my choice.
And I feel
And
good
it's a
about
good
it.
choice, and I feel real good about it. And the elevator doors opened, and we walked out. So instead of getting into the, fisticuffies with him, I chose a different lens. I chose.
Now, 2 other people
lens.
were on the elevator with us.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
And they stopped us outside the restaurant.
Yeah.
And they said, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for speaking up and rising above what this gentleman had to say.
Yeah.
So, it happens every day of our lives.
It does.
And,
It does. And it's a challenge. And it's always going to be a challenge.
and so I think we have come to a completion of our time together with
we
you.
have, guys. And thank
We
you.
love you all.
We love you so much.
Enjoy the rest of the service.
Yes, thank you. Big kisses.
Wow, such inspiring words. Thank you. And one of the beautiful things about all this, about the opportunity to rise above, is that we don't have to do it alone. We do it together. We do it in community. We do it with our friends. And one of the things I love from the Sufi tradition is one of the names for God or spirit is the friend, the greatest friend of all. The greatest friend of all, who always is available to us just going inside or being in nature. The friend is there. And so I want to sing this song that I know you know. Classic from Carole King. You've got a friend. And it's true, even in those times when you may feel like you're going through something all by yourself, there is a friend. And so feel that presence of love that is available to every one of us right here, right now, and is close to us as our own breath, as our own heart. When you're down and troubled and you need some love and care, and nothing is going right, close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you've got to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You've got a friend. When the sky above you grows dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind begins to blow, keep your head together and call my name out loud. Soon you'll hear me knocking upon your door. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, oh, all you got to do is call. I'll be there, yes I will. You've got a friend. Ain't it good to know that you've got a friend? When people can be so cold, they'll hurt you and desert you and take your soul if you let them, but don't you let them. Feel that presence of spirit. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you've got to do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. You've got a friend. You've got a friend. And I know it's true for every one of us on this call this morning. You do have a friend. You've got a friend. You've got a friend.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Len. Yes, you have a friend. We all do. I mean, that's one of the blessings of being in spiritual community, isn't it? Is that we get to know each other on way beyond a superficial, I work with those people, or even family. We get to know each other in spiritual community when you engage in spiritual community at a much deeper level, and we see each other, thank you, Catherine, through a different lens, too. So, thank you, all of you, Effie, Catherine, Len, so much so far this morning. Just my heart is so full. And we are going to hear from a couple of our friends now, a couple more of our friends. And we're going to start with Annie Cedarberg. And I met with Annie yesterday in the woods near my house here and filmed her. And it was just a perfect setting for what she has to share with us this morning. So here's Anne.
Hi, I'm happy to be here today and tell you a story about something that looked like it was wrong on the surface, something that didn't work out, and then a long time later it came out perfectly, better than I could imagine. I'm Anne Cedarberg. I'm an interpretive naturalist, which is someone who teaches nature to other people, and I do it through creative means in ways that are relevant to people. And I look back at my life now, and I can see the seeds of what I'm doing now when I was very small. When I was 3, we were living in suburban Chicago in an apartment, and there were no other kids. So my parents put me in nursery school really young so I could learn to socialize. Well, I was terrified. The teacher said I stood by her the whole time we were outside the first time. And then I noticed on the ground there were acorns everywhere. And I started to look at the acorns, and I started collecting the acorns, and pretty soon other kids came over and they were looking and they were collecting, and I learned how to socialize with my own species. And when I was 15, while other girls were falling in love with boys or other girls, I was falling in love with trees. And I felt so much from trees. I felt their energy, I felt their essence, their consciousness. They weren't inanimate objects to me, they were beings. And all I wanted to do was learn everything I could about trees and share it with other people. And I had a hint that maybe not everybody looked at trees the same way. But I thought, oh, most probably do. When I was 17, getting ready for college, I did an aptitude test, and it said I should be a forest ranger. No surprise to me. Probably my parents were surprised. I had also been sick during my teenage years, very sick, nearly died, and I was interested in healing. So even though I, apparently was going to be a forest ranger, I decided to be a nursing assistant and pursue nursing as a career. So when I graduated, I did that for a couple years. It was wonderful. It was not me. It was not. I'm so grateful it is for some people. And it felt like that door was shutting. That whole healing thing was shutting. That dream was over. So I went back to the forestry idea. My mom was from southern Illinois in the backwoods and into the Shawnee National Forest. And there was a forestry school right there. So I moved to the farm, which was my favorite place in the world. And I went to forestry school. And one class I loved, we hiked all over southern Illinois, looking at trees, learning how to identify them, learning their characteristics, learning to read the land. I loved it. But all the other classes were geared towards raising trees as crops and cutting them down. And that hurt my heart. And sadly, I left. I dropped out of school. And that was a big loss for me. And I was like, wow, I really thought that was it. And for the next few years, I floundered. It looked like floundering, and it certainly felt like floundering. And I tried a bunch of other things. The one saving grace was I became a youth minister in the Methodist Church, and I worked with kids for years, and I loved that. And I was so spiritual, I felt at home there. But as I grew and I started thinking differently, that didn't fit anymore either. So I tried being a wedding photographer and a portrait photographer, doing art shows with my photography. I tried writing, technical writing, newspaper writing. I tried graphics. I tried being an EMT. I didn't learn the first time that I'm not good with blood and guts. But I wanted to know first aid, so if one of the kids got hurt, I could take care of it. I tried being a secretary. I tried it all, and nothing seemed to fit. They were good. They just weren't me. And when I was 25, I took another aptitude test. It said, you should be a teacher. And I'm like, you're kidding, right? I did not like school. I did all right in school. I didn't enjoy it, though, because I was kinesthetic and I was an outside person. And the woman who gave it to me was smart enough to say, not all teachers are classroom teachers. I went on a nature hike in an urban nature preserve. I had moved from southern Illinois back to the Chicago area. And I went on this hike, and at the beginning I was like, I could do this. This would be really fun. But the guy who was leading it was a scientist, and he was brilliant. He knew so much, but he couldn't communicate it. And there were only 2 of us on the hike. If there had been more, I would have snuck away. And as it was, I was like, I'm not doing that. That's really boring. So a couple more years went by. I wound up in therapy with a wonderful therapist who helped me to see what had always been there, helped me to embrace it, and she supported me in pursuing that. And so I was back in touch with what I really wanted to do. I did a vision quest at that time, not a traditional one, but my version, and what I came away with was I wanted to help people see the God in nature. And I thought I can do it as an artist or I can do it as a naturalist. Oh, naturalist sounds very practical. Not quite, but when I came home from that vision quest, all the synchronicities fell into place. I wound up in graduate school studying it with the perfect person for me to learn from. I wound up doing an internship with a man who was an interpretive naturalist. And I said, I really want to do this, but I don't have a degree in natural history. And he said, but you have the best thing. You have the people skills. You have all these creative skills. Those are the hard ones to develop. I can teach you the natural history. And suddenly everything fell into perspective. All those doors that seemed to close, all those things that I thought were mistakes or failures, all of a sudden I shifted my perspective and I saw that they weren't a mistake. They weren't a dead end. It wasn't a dead dream. It was training me. It was my training for the dream I had when I was 15. And I've been an interpretive naturalist ever since. And so in some ways, I'm still like that 3-year-old sharing acorns with my friends. So I've learned you never know what life is going to lead you into, but if you trust, it's something good.
Oh, I love that. I love that with Annie. So sweet. And now we're going to go to Penny Cooper. Penny is newer to our community than maybe Annie is, and Penny lives right around the corner from where Bobby and I live. And I'm excited. We're bringing her in from her house, but I'm excited for Penny to share with all of us about her journey. So here we go, Penny Cooper.
Good morning, everyone. Hi. Yeah, I am new to the church, and it's such a blessing to have found it. I'm going to tell you my life path, and I don't want anyone to feel like I'm complaining in any way or feel sorry for me in any way, because it's been such a full life, and I wouldn't take any of it back. But I was born into a family where my parents were British, and it was sort of a stiff upper lip, you know, children were to be seen and not heard, and I was a sensitive soul, and took everything to heart. And my parents, dad was sort of a rageaholic and beat my mother a few times, even in front of us. And my mother, I've been told through therapy, was a narcissist, so the sense of worth, I didn't really have a sense of worth, and sought a lot of therapy, and latched onto my middle sister. I'm the baby, and she became an alcoholic, but she used to lie and steal and eat with me, and but nonetheless I latched onto her because she was there, and grew up latching onto boyfriends, and when they would break up with me, I didn't have anyone, and my dad was atheist and my mother was agnostic, so I didn't understand about God or spirituality, so I would feel incredibly alone, isolated, and often suicidal. Fortunately, I never did anything about it. I would have those feelings that didn't want to be here, life was too cruel, and felt there might be a better place for me, that I didn't fit. And so I went through a lot of heartache in life, and they transformed into health issues. And an appendicitis that I nearly died from, and I developed Lyme disease, which they didn't know was Lyme disease at the time, and it created congestive heart failure that I nearly died from. And then brain injury that affected my memory, concentration, impulse control, so I've gained weight and started smoking, which I'm working on. And then I had breast cancer twice, which fortunately caught early, and depression and anxiety I've throughout my life. But what I'd like to say is, through my learning about God and spirituality and this church, as well as the law of attraction, and my dearest friend Jamie, who's like my Dalai Lama, who keeps me on the spiritual path and keeps me in the frame of not taking things personally, and about love, and my wonderful husband who couldn't be kinder and sweeter soul, and keeping my relationship with God. I just know that I'm going to beat this slum, and I just know that I can have happy a life as I'd like. I feel so grateful and so blessed for everything that I do have, and I know I'm going to make good friends and learn to trust, and everything's going to be rosy. I'm grateful for all the love that I do have and all the support that I do have. And I just feel so happy for the future. Thank you. Hopefully that was long enough. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Penny. Thank you for your deep, authentic sharing. And we join you in gratitude. We join you in that gratitude for this thing called life, and for that something, that divine spark within you that knows that your path is a path of revealing wholeness. Yeah? And so we so appreciate you sharing. And I suspect many of you relate. There was something in Penny's story that made you go, oh yeah, I feel that. I know that. I know that. I feel that. I've experienced that. I've witnessed that. And yet we rise. And yet we rise. And that's what we're all about, always, is finding that strength within ourselves. And I use the word strength with a capital S. That something with a capital S, spirit itself. It's here for us all the time. So we're going to let Len wrap this up now in a song and really anchor it in with his music.
Thank you again. So I've got a brand new song that I want to share with you all. And it was inspired by something that happened to me while I was living in Sarasota. And if you remember back in the relatively early days of the pandemic, you know, we're talking about challenges in our life and how they may not seem like it at the time, but they turn out to be opportunities for growth and for something even more wonderful in our lives. Well, after you remember when the beaches were closed and we were all really heavily locked down, and then a lot of uncertainty. We didn't know what this virus was or anything, and it was a scary time. And I walked down to Siesta Beach the first time, you know, once the beaches opened again, and I saw, maybe you saw these signs all over the place, the spread love signs, those incredible, beautiful signs, and it touched me so much that, you know, we can't, it's not just germs we can spread our joy, our love, our power, our connectedness. All these good things can spread as well. So I wrote this song based on that experience. Spread love everywhere you go. Spread love, just let it flow. In the darkest night, it's a shining light. Spread love. When the lockdown ended, I took a walk. I was feeling fear and dread. Then I saw a hand-painted sign with a colorful design and playful writing that simply said, spread love everywhere you go. Spread love, just let it flow. In the darkest night, it's a shining light. Spread love, So try that chorus with me. Spread love everywhere you go. Spread love. Just let it flow. There's my darling wife with the signs. I contacted the artist and he sent me some that I can use in a music video. Spread love everywhere you go. Spread love, just let it flow. In the darkest night, it's a shining light. Spread love. Those simple words lifted up my spirits, just like the first day of spring. Jesus and my mama and the Dalai Lama, they all say the very same thing: to spread love everywhere you go. Spread love. Oh, she's going away. Just let it flow. In the darkest night, it's a shining light. Spread love. Not only germs go viral, good things can also spread. Isn't that the truth? We can share compassion and care and the love in our hearts instead. So spread love everywhere you go. Spread love, just let it flow. In the darkest night, it's a shining light. It heals and consoles, it makes us whole. Glorious and giving, it makes life worth living. Spread love. Oh yeah, everybody. Spread love, spread love, spread love, spread love, spread love, spread love. My darling wife, Ella Indra, on sign dancing.
How much fun is that? And Len, you'd be happy to know that those spread love signs are still very prominent on Main Street, Sarasota. Took a walk there yesterday. So the movement continues, shop owners and everyone else with the sign. Well, how inspiring these stories are. We all have a story. We all have probably many stories. And many of them, guess what, have to do with money. I got a couple money stories. I could take this for another hour. But through all of that, even when the money looked non-existent, what I had learned through my time, especially in this teaching, is that to keep giving from somewhere, whether it was cash or energy or help or smiles or thank yous or whatever. We all have gifts we can share. And as we share from that flow, I keep talking about that flow. That flow isn't just about money. That flow is about the energy of spreading the love, of spreading love with a smile. We just smile to have the kind of response that Effie and Catherine had to the fellow in the elevator, to be bigger than the situation, bigger than whatever is around us, and know that we can give that bigness, we can source that bigness from the flow that's within us. And for those of you that can do it financially, please, please, please support our wonderful center. We're still growing and flowing, and this energy that flows and needs to be moving as us to support all of this activity online, and with all the singers and wonderful participation of Len and the others. It does require money, the energy of money. So Evan is posting 4 different ways that you can give, and including snail mail, I think, is in there. So I just take this moment knowing that there is an abundant flow in the universe. We call it God, we call it love, we call it creation, we call it the love intelligence that flows and moves in through and as each one of us, and as it does, it expands and has great purpose as us, as we express, as each one of us expresses in the life that you live. And as you express forth with the energy of gratitude, the energy of giving forth from the abundance that you have received, that love, that joy, that peace, that spreading of love, spreading the goodness that is you everywhere. Let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. I bless the giver and I bless the gift. Thank you, and namaste. Now over to Bobby.
Thank you, Rev G. I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on. I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on.
Pass it on, spread love like butter. I love that. I got a big kick out of that. Thanks, Eric. That was fun.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. What a beautiful morning in community. I love it. Thank you all, each and every one of you, for tuning in, for your comments, for those that participated, Catherine, Ethelyn, Rev G, Len, of course, and Bobby with that, Penny and Annie. Just beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing of who you are and what you are, and the power and presence that you are. I just have one main announcement, and I want to just talk for a moment about membership. You know, when I first founded this community, when we began a couple years ago, I wondered, why do I even care about membership? What is membership all about? Why is it important? There's some organizational reasons why it's important, and I'll get to that in a moment, but to me, the importance of membership was for people to feel connected. It was to establish a level of engagement and ownership. You know, to say, yes, that's my spiritual community. Yes, that's my spiritual family. Yes, I'm connected with this message. Yes, this is how I choose to live my life. This is what I believe. I want to be part of having this message, you know, cover the blanket, the world with peace and love and science of mind. Peace, love, science, and mind. And so for me, membership is about that. And so we give discounts, you know, money speaks, right? So you get a discount. You get a 20% discount when you take classes. If you're a member, that can be a significant amount of money. And 10% off on workshops, which we are going to have a workshop announced soon. I haven't picked the time of it yet, but stay tuned for that. So membership is really, for me, about that. Now, organizationally, we have to have a number. We have to know what our membership number is to give once a year to home office. That time was sped up And I missed the email on September 1st where they said the deadline was September 30th. So I need to know like today, tomorrow at the latest, because I have to complete our annual report and get it back to home office as to how many members we have. Membership can simply be, and I say simple, but it's not. It's your sacred yes. Yes, 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 yes. And it can include a voluntary financial gift, but please hear me, that is voluntary. It is not about money. It is about your engagement, your energy of support with what we're doing here at CSLCC and what the Centers for Spiritual Living are doing worldwide. It is about that. It is about your energetic yes, your sacred yes. And so I sent an email yesterday. You can do it there. It also showed up on Facebook. You can do it at the Facebook link that was posted yesterday morning. You can send me an email. There's just lots of ways, and it can be very simple. And so we encourage you, we invite you, we love you, and give your sacred yes and join us in what we're doing here and feel a part of it and ownership with it. Also, I need to tell you that membership is also important because the number of members that we have is what helps us establish a quorum when it comes to voting, things that we have to vote on, and we will do that this year at our annual meeting, which is going to be November 14th, because we have board members, board of trustees that their seats are expiring and they want to re-up and stay on, and the nominating committee has said yes, we support that, but you need to vote on it. So we need to know for that reason as well. So all that is in the email that I sent out. If you don't get our emails, you want to sign up for that. So you can do that on Facebook. There's a post right there to be able to go on our MailChimp email list, or you can go to our website, cslculturalcoast.org, and sign up there. And then you're getting all the information that you need to make sure that you are an engaged part of this community. And with that, I also want to say, and if you want prayer support, you know, we might have stirred something this morning that it might have touched a nerve. You know, Annie's sharing or Penny's sharing or something that Catherine or Ethy said might have triggered something in you. And we are here to support you. Rev G, myself, and we have a team of practitioners, and we'll be posting their phone numbers, but also you can simply email prayer@cslculturalcoast.org, and we'll get right on it, knowing your highest and best. And we're going to change up our closing because Annie has a prayer. I had asked her to do a prayer, and I filmed her yesterday in the woods doing this. Now I have to give you a little pre-warning. There is a cicada that gets very, very loud during the prayer. And we chose to leave it in there, you know, not to redo, and because it kind of adds to the flavor of being in nature and the power and presence of spirit in, as, and through, and all around us. So let us close out in prayer with Anne in the Woods.
Reverend Theresa asked if I would do a prayer, and I'm honored to do that. We're going to start with something called heart math, which is a technique developed by the Institute of Heart Math that brings our brains and hearts into harmony. It brings us back into our body, and it helps us to be a radiating beam of light into the rest of the world. So if you'll join me, put your hands either on your heart chakra or your heart, and close your eyes. And you can just bring your attention to that area, but if you put your hands there, your focus automatically goes. Feel the warmth of your hands on your chest. You can feel your hands from the inside out. And then take a couple of deep breaths and visualize white light coming through the backs of your hands and into your heart. And as you exhale, breathe out white light through your hands. Do that for just a minute. And now bring to mind someone or something that you love. And now, while we're in this calmer, more embodied place, let's go into affirmative prayer. And let's just know that there's one loving energy that makes up everything in the universe, from the most distant reaches of space to right here in our bodies, in the brilliance and the magnificence of our human bodies. Let's know that that energy made everything out of itself, and that that energy is absolute abundance and beauty and creativity, and it's joy and harmony and love. And if everything's made out of that, we are too. We are too. We are made in that image and likeness. We have those qualities, those characteristics. And one of those qualities is peace. And peace is available anytime we choose and we bring ourselves back to the knowing of who and what we are. And that peace fills our being, it fills our heart, fills our heads, and it radiates out. That peace, that love, that harmony, it changes us physically in that moment. And it changes everything around us. It changes the people. It's a gift that we bring to other people when we're in this state. And I am just grateful. I am so grateful to know that peace is not my birthright, it's my essence. All these qualities of God are our essence. It's who we really are. I'm grateful to know that right now. I'm grateful to remember. I'm grateful for the times that I remember to come back to peace. I am grateful for the techniques, all the different ways we know to come back to that place. And while it feels like we're going within, I am grateful to know that our vibration is rising, our energy is flowing outwards towards everything around us, including the nature around us and our friends, our loved ones, our community. And I'm grateful, so grateful to know that even when we feel like we're between a rock and a hard place, there's always up. There's always coming back to remembering the truth of who we are, to remembering that peace is who we are, love is who we are, joy is who we are. And I give great thanks, and I know this for all my friends who are listening, all the people who are listening, everybody in the community. We all have this option, this choice to come back, to remember who we are, and to radiate that out. And so, with a very grateful heart, I say thank you. Thank you, God, thank you, infinite intelligence that created us this way. And I let this prayer go knowing that we can always rise up. So it is.